Good morning, everyone. My name is Katie Von Lehman, and welcome to our Pitt to You presentation. We are very excited to have you here today. I will say we are going to wait just a few more minutes because we have a lot more people signed up that have not quite joined us yet, but we will get started in 2 minutes. And so if you would like to get a notebook or glass of water, please feel free to do so. We are very excited to have you here with us today. Just one more minute, I promise. All right. So like I said, my name is Katie Von Lehman. Welcome to the Pitt to You presentation. We are very happy to have all of you here today. We are going to have a lot of information for you and talk to you about more programs that we're going to be providing for you throughout the summer and fall. But before we get into that, I just wanted to do some introductions. So we have a number of Pitt staff members from different offices across the university who really work hard throughout the year in order to make this program happen and successful for our East Asian students who are coming to the University of Pittsburgh. So I would like to take a moment and introduce you to them so that you know who helped create this program that you'll be experiencing. We have Dr. Belkis Torres, who's the Executive Director for Global Engagement for the University Center for International Studies. Dr. James Cook, who's the Associate Director for the Asian Studies Center. That's my picture. As I said, my name is Katie Von Lehman. I'm an Assistant Director in the Office of International Services. Amanda Reese, who is an Assistant Director in Residence Life. Kyung-Ah Lee, who is the International Programming Coordinator in Cross-Cultural and Leadership Development. Giselle Arce, who is the Program Manager for Global Experiences Office. Bliss Howell, the Pitt to You Coordinator for the Asian Studies Center. And Lynn Kaur Katani, who's the Assistant Director for the Asian Studies Center. And we also have Pitt to You ambassadors. These are students who have been doing cross-cultural trainings and working the past several months to prepare not only today's presentation for you, but also to do that programming throughout the summer and fall that we're going to speak about later as well. So they're going to introduce themselves in more depth once they do their presentation this morning, but I'm just very quickly going to go through their names so that you remember their faces for when they do their presentation. We have Rachel from the College of Business Administration, Jessica from the College of General Studies, Chris from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, Sophia from the School of Education, Haley from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, Julia from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, Madura from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, Primadoris from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, Shay from the School of Pharmacy, Susie from the School of Nursing, Sophie from the School of Rehabilitation Sciences, Aminata from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, and Fatima from the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences. And last but not least, we have Hosea from the School of Computing and Information. So as I mentioned, they're going to be speaking with you more throughout the presentation, and I'll talk with you a little bit more about how they're going to interact with you throughout the Pitt to You program. Today, we're going to talk about the City of Pittsburgh, life on campus, academics at Pitt, student affairs, the Global Ties program, international services, and the Pitt to You program, as I mentioned. We will have time at the end for questions, and we will also have resources for you for any questions that we cannot answer. You can always enter your questions into the chat, but you might want to wait because we might cover that information throughout the course of the program. So you can choose whether or not to save your questions for the end or to put them in the chat throughout the presentation. If you are ready to go, we have Lynn with an icebreaker for everyone.
Hi, greetings from Pittsburgh and welcome to the Pitt to You presentation. We wish we could have joined you in person in Asia, but are so happy you're with us now, even virtually. We thought we would start out with a few questions that might help us get to know each other better. So Giselle is going to help me. She's going to post some of these questions in the polling, and so feel free to answer them, and she will share the results. So the first question is, what is your favorite pet? Okay, so let's share the results. It's pretty, oh, were you able to, oh, she reopened it, sorry. It's a close race between dog and cat. So if you feel strongly one way or the other, hopefully you'll feel inspired to give your input. All right, I think, does anyone else want to contribute? Otherwise, we'll end the poll. Great. So we will share the results. Dog just beat out cat. So if any of you are inspired to go get a pet, you can change the results. Okay, so now our next question, which Giselle will very kindly put up, is what do you wish your superpower was? Unfortunately, you can only choose one. It'd be great to have all of these powers. And the results are very reflective of current and future Pitt students, because super smart is definitely the preferred one. Okay, so any last people want to enter? Otherwise, we'll end the poll. And as you probably noted, super smart. Okay, and then the last question. I think Giselle will put that up. Thanks everyone for sharing. I hope this is helpful to know you're mostly dog people and are all wish to be super smart. Yep. And then the last one is, what is your dream? If your dream's not on here, your second dream. Well, this is also very interesting. I think most people have voted. We'll just give a few more seconds. And oops, some people are still voting. And I think also some people are just joining now. So we'll give them a little more time to share their dream. All right. So as you also might have expected, everyone hopes to be a billionaire. So I just ask that you remember all of us in this presentation once you're a billionaire, if you're feeling very generous. And then the last thing we want to do, thank you so much for participating in the polls, is if everyone could just put in the chat one word of what you think Pitt is or what Pitt is to you. So I will get us started. Oops. Everyone want to put their word in the chat, and then we can all see how everyone's feeling. Oh, very nice. Thank you. Oh, that's a lot of homes, which is really lovely. I like Zihan cold. That is true for part of the year. Right now, it is definitely not cold here. All right. I like Hogwarts. That's another good one. Lovely and fun. So thanks. I hope we all had a chance to get to know each other just a little bit. You all want to be billionaires. Most of you are dog people, and y'all are already super smart, but if you had a superpower, that would be that. So next is the exciting part of the presentation. We will hear from the Pitt to You ambassadors. Haley Cook will introduce us to the City of Pittsburgh. Thanks so much for participating.
Hello, everyone. I'm Haley, and I will be introducing the City of Pittsburgh to you guys. So this is just a fun image, and on here are some of the activities or objects that are really commonly known to Pittsburghers. So I'm pretty sure the presentation is going to be made available to you guys afterwards. So if you want to, maybe look up what some of these things are, if any of them catch your interest, please feel free to do so. And if we go to the next slide, then now I can start introducing the City of Pittsburgh to you guys. So the City of Pittsburgh has a population of over 310,000 people. And we have 91 distinct communities and cultures that make up the City of Pittsburgh. So there's never really a shortage of things to do around here. So, maybe between midterms when we have a short break, you can go and explore different parts of the city. So some of the students here at Pitt have their favorite neighborhoods to go visit and explore. So I'm going to introduce the top 3 favorites of the Pitt students to you guys. So the first one is the Strip District. The Strip District is a shopping area. So we have something called the Terminal, and inside is this like indoor artisanal shopping area or like a farmer's market. So we have a lot of farmers outside of the City of Pittsburgh, and they'll come to the Terminal and share things like their honey or their eggs and their cheese. That sort of stuff can be found at the Terminal. And there's also a lot of different specialty stores. So we have like a Polish deli, and we have like a chocolatier store, all sorts of things. And we also have the Pittsburgh Opera and the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater located in the Strip District. I'm not sure if any of you are interested in opera or ballet, but if you're interested, the Pittsburgh Ballet Theater does offer classes, so you're able to sign up for those if you want. And if we go to the next slide, this is Lawrenceville. So Lawrenceville is really popular among college students because it's a new up and coming area in Pittsburgh. So there's like a lot of street art and murals that people can take photos with or next to for social media. There's a lot of like special eateries. So we have French bakeries, and we have specialty cafes, that sort of stuff there. Like there's there's like a cafe where you can get coffee, and then where you can also go bowling with your friends. So that's pretty fun. And we also have a glass company in Pittsburgh, and they're located in Lawrenceville. And if you have the free time, they also offer classes. So you can go ahead and give hand-blown glass a try here. And last but not least, so these are technically two neighborhoods, but I put them together because to get to Mount Washington, you have to go through Southside. And Southside is another shopping area. So students like to go there because they can go shopping for their clothes or anything, and they can hang out with friends, go catch a movie, that sort of a thing. But Mount Washington is really known for fine dining and something called the funicular incline. So if you see the image in the middle, it looks like a red train car, but it's called a funicular. And you can actually ride it, and it'll take those tracks, and you get to see the city of Pittsburgh. And I really recommend going in the fall because the trees are all sorts of beautiful colors. Okay, and I think next, I will be introducing some of the student perks you can get as a Pitt student. So you will be getting a Pitt ID. And if you have a Pitt ID, you can use that to get discount tickets to musicals or to the opera or to any of the ballet performances that might be happening out in the city. You can also use your Pitt ID to gain access to a lot of the museums here in the city of Pittsburgh. So when you go up to get your ticket, you just sort of flash your ID at them, and you should be able to get in for either free or a discounted price. And students also have access to special student price tickets for concerts or movie theater tickets. And at the university, we also offer different fitness centers and gyms for the students to work out in. And we also have quite a few restaurants here in Oakland, but also all over the city. So they also offer special student deals, student discounts, all sorts of things like that. And next we have Chris, who will be introducing transportation and some Pittsburgh and American customs.
Thanks, Haley. So yeah, my name's Chris. I'm originally from Boston, and I'm a psychology and economics major. So if you're interested in that, feel free to message me in the chat if you want to link up. But yeah, I wanted to talk about some American customs and the way of life in Pittsburgh. So in general, Americans are just very friendly to strangers. So people may try to strike a conversation with you if you're like waiting in line in a restaurant or in a cafe. I know that this has happened to me quite a few times, and don't feel afraid about that. It's just kind of the way things are here in the US. And in Pittsburgh, there's also something called Pittsburghese, which is the local Pittsburgh accent or dialect of English that's spoken here by some people. It's for some people it's very pronounced, so it's very obvious. For some people it's very obvious, and some of the words include downtown, which stands for downtown, or yinzer, which is another funny little term that's kind of used by a lot of people to describe Pittsburghers. And it's just a lot of local residents kind of have this sort of accent or way of speaking English. And also in the US, there are also many important holidays that are celebrated over the course of the year, including Halloween, Veterans Day, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah by the Jewish community, Christmas, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and St. Patrick's Day. And also here on campus, you have access to a lot of options for transportation. So here on campus, we have Pitt shuttles, and all you need to do is simply show your ID to the bus driver and they'll let you on board. And there's many other perks that come with the Pitt shuttles, including free Wi-Fi. And we have a lot of popular routes that pretty much take you all across campus. Pitt students also have access to Carnegie Mellon shuttles as well, which is the photo on the left. The the buses look very similar, so make sure you look at the markings on the side. But overall, you can also track the shuttles with this app called Translock. So you can figure out when the best time for you to leave is to catch the bus. So in terms of like public transportation, Pitt students ride all Pittsburgh buses for free. And on the left, you can see a photo of the Port Authority buses, which are usually like red, golds, or blue. And they're pretty obvious. So all you need to do is just tap your Pitt ID or Panther card onto the little scanner and they'll let you on. And there are also like a lot of options, or two options for ride sharing. Comparable apps are like Didi in China, but we use Uber and Lyft here in the United States. And Pittsburgh doesn't really have much of a typical like taxi service like you would see in other major cities like New York. But we do have something like that's called Z-Trip, which is something similar, like a hybrid between Uber and a normal taxi. And I personally haven't used it before, but I've heard it's still pretty good. And sometimes can be cheaper than Uber. And I'm gonna show it off, excuse me, not show it off. I'm gonna hand it off to Hosea, who's gonna talk about the shopping and dining options here in Pittsburgh or near campus.
Thank you, Chris. Hi, everyone. My name is Hosea Waugh. I am a rising third year studying information science in the School of Computing and Information. So if you're interested in information science or computer science, yeah, just message me. So in terms of shopping, entertainment, and dining, there's so much to do in Pittsburgh, but I'm going to start off by talking about my favorite spot, the Target. So it's like a one-stop shop store. You can get almost anything you want from this store. They sell clothes, they sell groceries. I mean, almost anything you want. So it's about 15 minutes away from campus using public transportation. So like busing, what Chris spoke about in the last slide. Just you can go up, show your ID to the Port Authority bus. And yeah, and you can go to any of these spots that I'm about to talk about. And it's a really popular place for students to shop. Like I said, you can get anything you want, any of your necessities. So in terms of particular places to get food, so there is the Forbes Market, and they do accept your dining dollars. That is part of your meal plan. And it's on campus, making it really convenient. But I personally think, and I'm pretty sure there's other people that can vouch for this, that it's really overpriced for a lot of items. So I would recommend going off campus to other grocery stores to get your food items. One being the Giant Eagle, which is about 15 minutes away from campus. It's actually about like right down the road from Target, like 2 minutes, which also sells grocery items. Can't recommend this place enough. But the Giant Eagle, they usually have like really cheap items. And I go there quite often. In terms of retail shopping, so we have a few malls. We have Ross Park and we have Robinson, but these malls are really far away from campus. They're about an hour both ways using public transportation, but you can also use a ride sharing app that Chris spoke about, like Lyft or Uber, and it would be about 20 minutes both ways, but that's usually expensive, $20 both ways, or 40 depending on the demand of people. But there's also Walnut Street on Shady Side, which has a lot of like upper clothing places to shop, like really expensive places to shop. And it's about 2 minutes away from campus, well, 5 minutes away. It's in the Shady Side neighborhood, excuse me. And yeah, so in terms of places to eat off campus, if you don't want to eat at any of the dining halls, it's a Friday and you want to treat yourself after a long exam, or just a long week in general, there is a few places to there's a few places to dine. One of them being the Hunnen Bar. which is Chinese cuisine, and that's in South Oakland. And there's also Bebe's Kitchen, which is Korean-inspired cuisine, and that's in downtown. And there's another spot that's not showing up on the slide, but we also do have boba on campus, and it's called Foku Tea. So that's all I have on shopping and entertainment and dining. This is a really condensed list, so if you're looking for more spots, you can definitely just message me, and I think we're gonna have more informational sessions on that. So now I'm gonna be introducing Jessica, who's gonna be talking about the Pitt campus more.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica, and I'm a junior in the College of General Studies, majoring in health services. And I'll be introducing the campus and student life at the University of Pittsburgh. So Pitt's campus is located in Oakland. So we are close to downtown and surrounding neighborhoods of Pittsburgh. This urban campus has locally owned shops, dining, and more. So there's always exciting activities, great food, and cool places to go, as everyone else mentioned. Another thing is that Pitt's campus has a great community, but if you want to explore, as Chris said, there's always transportation available to students. So to start off our discussion on student life, I'll break down my own personal experience living in a residence hall. So my first year, I lived in the Honors LLC of Sutherland Hall. I was randomly placed in an 8-person suite. So this means that there were 2 girls in each room with 4 rooms total, and there were 2 private bathrooms. On my floor, we had 1 resident assistant and about 30 residents. And luckily, we all bonded quickly and became very good friends. On this slide, there's a picture of our floor getting ice cream together. Later that day, we explored the city as a group and watched a movie. Many of us ate meals together at the Perch, which is dining on campus, and had similar classes and more. We even decorated our hallways and rooms together for holidays, did art projects together, played instruments, and we even threw small birthday parties for our residents. Some of my favorite memories was doing a floor fashion show, going to concerts and sporting events together, and even celebrating holidays as a floor. While I really loved my time at Sutherland, it can be sometimes noisy since it's near a hospital, and it's also quite far from main campus. However, I loved my time at Sutherland, and I'm very grateful for the great friends and experiences I had there. Now let's hear about Fatima's experience in Lothrop Hall.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everyone. My name is Fatima Traore. I'm currently a junior in the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, where I'm studying political science. So if any of you are interested in possibly majoring in that or just studying that, feel free to message me. But yeah, so I'm going to be speaking to you all today about my experience living in Lothrop Hall, which is one of the few residence halls on Pitt's campus that has mostly single units. So before I get into my personal experience living there, here's some quick general information on the building. So Lothrop Hall houses a little over 700 students. Although it primarily has singles, it also has a few doubles that are spread out throughout the building as well. There are 14 floors total. Lothrop houses both first-year students as well as a couple of upper-class students and contains the Nursing LLC, which Shay will be speaking about soon. While each room does come with its own sink, all of the bathrooms are communal, and that means that pretty much everyone just has to share them. There are 7 lounges total in the building, and then there's a laundry room and mail room that are both located on the first floor. There's also a community kitchen that's located on the first floor that just has a bunch of cooking supplies for all of the residents to use. And I personally really enjoy living in Lothrop Hall. Some of my favorite things about the building are that the room sizes are pretty big compared to some of the other singles and some of the other residence halls. Another thing that I really like was that each of the rooms in Lothrop Hall comes with a sink, which I thought was really convenient. Another thing that I also really liked were that the closet spaces were always pretty spacious compared to some of the other residence halls, which I really, really like because I have a ton of clothes. And in terms of the things that I did not like, first, there was the issue of no AC in the building. So like the later summer months and earlier spring months were extremely hot, especially for the people who live like in the upper floors. Another thing that I disliked was the fact that Lothrop Hall can be a bit of a walk to main campus and like different campus buildings and all of the main dining hall areas. But overall, though, I personally really enjoyed living in Lothrop Hall and would definitely recommend it to anyone looking to live in a single. So now I'm gonna pass it over to Julia, who'll be speaking about her experience living in Tower A.
Good morning or good evening, everyone. My name is Julia. I'm a senior studying biology in the Dietrich School of Arts and Sciences, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience living in Tower A. So on the slide, there are two pictures of me and my floor, as well as me after moving into my dorm. These were probably taken about a week before classes start. So you definitely have some time to get settled in and meet new people on your floor. Personally, I was placed on floor 15, and I've met my roommate through Facebook. So it's definitely an option to go randomly. I've had people tell me great experiences about being put with a random roommate, as well as meeting their roommate through social media platforms. And in terms of towers, there's 3 of them, and they're cylinder looking buildings, and they're really, I would say they're like a landmark on campus, almost similar to Kathy. You'll recognize them if you see them. And it's a very convenient location in terms of all the services and resources that are literally an elevator ride away from you. So you have access to laundry, mail, your dining halls, a gym, Panther Central. The library is a short walk away, and the buses and shuttles are right outside of the buildings. So Tower A is air conditioned and you have heat, so it's very useful in the hot summers and colder months. And in terms of how the dorms look on the inside, you can rearrange some of the furniture. You have a bed, a desk, and 2 wardrobes. And so they're very heavy, but if you can manage it, you can kind of change your room around to how you would best like it. And in terms of what Towers has in every building, on every 3rd floor, there's a study lounge. So it's an additional study space where you can hang with people on your floor, or people from other floors can come up and meet you there. Tower A also has communal bathrooms, which might sound a little scary, but it's honestly not that bad in my opinion once you get settled into your classes, figure out your schedule, and I believe your personal habits will come along very smoothly after that. On every 3rd floor is 3 elevators as well. So I was kind of lucky with where I was placed on my floor. So I had 3 elevators to get down and back onto campus. I will say, since the hospital is right up the street from Towers, it's a little noisy at night when they have the helicopters flying in patients, as well as there's usually just a lot of students around grabbing food at night. Pitt is doing a lot of construction recently, so campus has been looking a lot prettier, but it does come at the cost of some noise at night. But overall, I would say my experience with Tower A has been really great, and I would definitely suggest living there, and I would do it again. And now I'm gonna pass it off to Shay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shay. I'm a doctor of pharmacy student pursuing a concentration in global health and a minor in chemistry. And I'm going to be talking to you guys about living on campus. So as you can see here, these are the towers that Julia was just talking about. Pitt has a wide variety of housing options available on campus. There's communal or suite style living. And what that basically means is that with suite style, you're with a group of students and you share a restroom. Whereas for the communal living, the whole floor would share a restroom. So there are definitely perks to either. I mean, obviously with a suite style, less people, but you do have to clean it yourself. Whereas communal, there is a staff that would be there to clean it. And along with that, every building does come with a laundry room as well, so you won't have to walk too far to do your laundry. Some buildings have amenities such as computer labs, dining halls, gyms, and kitchens. But even if they don't contain that, everything on campus is within a walking distance. So for example, if your building doesn't have a gym, you will have access to a gym not too far away. And we sort of touched on this already, but a lot of buildings do contain roommates. So you can have a roommate in a double, triple, quadruple, or even larger suites in some of the buildings. Again, that is building specific, but singles are also available if you prefer that. And you can live on campus for multiple years. I'm actually going to be a senior this year living on campus still. So I have really had a good experience on Pitt's campus. So this will be my 4th year living on campus in Oakland. And another thing to consider when choosing your residence hall is that our campus is sort of divided into 2 sections. There's upper campus, which is sort of on top of the hill, and lower campus at the bottom. And there are definitely perks to both. Upper campus is definitely quieter, and there are lots of transportation options, but the downside to that is that it is quite a walk if you do choose to walk. And lower campus is closer to classes and libraries, food. But again, it can be kind of noisier, as we did talk about that, but there are definitely perks to either. And every building will have a staff of resident assistants, and you will have a resident assistant on each floor. And Sophia will talk more about that in the coming slides. But now I will talk about living and learning communities. So there are a variety of living and learning communities that you can choose to live in if you have a specific interest. Living and learning communities allow you to connect with individuals with similar interests and has programming specific to that living and learning community. There's absolutely no extra charge to live in a living and learning community. So if you're even interested, feel free to apply. It's totally free. If you apply for your LLC, when you apply for housing, and you can only choose one LLC since that's where your room will be located. So you cannot live in multiple. And just speaking from personal experience, I have lived in the honors living and learning community as a student and as a resident assistant, and I've had a wonderful experience. I've been able to meet like-minded students and been able to engage with students in my classes, form study groups, and attend programs that stimulate my interests. For example, this past year as a resident assistant, I was able to host programs with the Miss America organization, who talks about like women in STEM, and also with the Pittsburgh Zoo. So we got to Zoom with them and got to see some animals, which was really cool. So it's been a really awesome experience, and you get to do some really cool programming if you live in an LLC. So as you can see here, those are all the LLCs that you can choose to live in, such as Appreciation of the Arts, Casa Cultural, Panther Leadership Academy, Engineering, Gender and Sexuality, Global Village, Health Sciences, Healthy You, Honors, Music, Nursing, Outdoor Recreation, Pitt Business, ROTC, Service to Others, Sustainability, and Women Who Lead. And just something to note as well is that some of these LLCs are not only for freshmen. So if you live in a LLC your first year as a student and you really have a good experience and you enjoy it, some of these LLCs have upperclassmen LLCs as well, so you can live in it for multiple years. I know just off the top of my head, honors is like that, engineering is like that as well, and I believe business. So if you have a good experience, you can continue to live on campus in a living and learning community. So now I will introduce Sophia, who will talk about residence life.
Hi everyone, my name is Sophia and I'm a rising senior this year, which is kind of crazy. And also I am going to be a 3rd year resident assistant. So since my sophomore year, I served as a resident assistant, which you guys might not know why we keep talking about that, but basically what a resident assistant is, which also we'll reference as an RA, they work to develop community and provide support to students within the residence hall. So their goal is to create a floor that's positive, welcoming, and safe and inclusive for everyone that lives there. They're a peer mentor, and they also help guide you through your first or second or whatever year you are in college, because as Shay talked about, you can live on campus for as many years as you would prefer if you do get housing. And they do actually live on the floor with you, and they host community development programs both inside and outside of the residence hall. So in the picture, you can actually see that's me in the picture with my floor a few years ago, pre-COVID, and we went on a trip through the program called PMAD, which is it's a community service day that a lot of Pitt students take part in. And as a floor, we did that, which was really good with community bonding for them. And I've also hosted programs inside the dorm, similar to what Shay said. She did some virtual stuff with Miss America and the zoo this year, but a lot of things like movie nights and stuff like that, just so that the residents can kind of get to know each other in a more social environment. But we also have programs that focus on academics, similar to the LLCs. If you do have similar majors and things like that, the RA can program specific to those concepts. And in each dorm, there's also a resident director who is a professional staff member that's available to help support you and connect you to campus resources. Like I said, there's one in each res hall, and they're there to just provide you more support, and your resident assistant could always connect you to them. And next, I'm going to talk about dining on campus. So if you do live on campus, most likely you will have a meal plan. And so there's 3 different parts to our meal plans. We have meal swipes, dining dollars, and then meal exchanges, which is something that started last year. When you sign up for your meal plan, or if you already have signed up for your meal plan, there's more detail and depth about what those 3 things mean. But Hosea kind of talked a little bit about this. We have one like market that you can use your dining dollars at, Forbes Market. And we also have 2 dining halls. One is called the Eatery and one is called the Perch. So depending on where you live on campus, there's one that might be closer to you, but you do have access to both of those. And there you would just swipe in, and it's similar to sort of like a buffet where you can eat as much as you would like while you are swiped in for that time period. And then we also have dining dollars, which are already loaded onto your Panther card, which you should receive when you get to campus. And you can choose to spend those wherever you would like, as long as those locations take them. So my favorite, they recently put in this smoothie bowl place called Shake Smart, and it's up at the Peterson Event Center, which I think Julia will talk about a little bit more later. And I also like Chick-fil-A. So there's a bunch of different, and I also like True Burger because they have a veggie burger. So there are definitely places that have vegetarian options and other options depending on your dietary needs, especially in our dining halls like the Eatery and the Perch. And when you guys get this presentation, I did link our Dining on Campus website, which will give you the hours, the menus, and the descriptions of different locations, and also a map of where those places are. And you can always reach out to any of the ambassadors and ask them for their advice on which places they like and which they would recommend. And now Julia is going to talk a little bit more about food around campus.
Yeah, so Sophia explained some of the dining plans that come with, being a first-year student, but there are also a lot of other options around campus within a short 10-minute or less walking distance, or you can catch some of the Pittsburgh Port Authority buses to go and explore different neighborhoods. And I would definitely say that Pittsburgh is full of a lot of hidden gems in terms of restaurants, cafes, local businesses that you can get to know and support. Personally, I choose to eat at local businesses more often than I do at fast food or chain restaurants, but even technically, quote unquote, off campus, you still have a bunch of options between different cuisines, American, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. There are so many more options out there, and it's good to take a break from campus dining every once in a while, and you can fit in meals with friends, either between classes or a lot of these restaurants are on a street called Forbes Avenue. And after about like 9 p.m. on weekdays, some of these restaurants will have what's called like late night specials, where you can get food items for half prices. So it's really popular with college students to go out with their friends at night to grab a bite to eat after a long day and just relax and catch up with friends. So in terms of more off-campus food, Pittsburgh does have a bunch of Asian grocery stores. I put a picture of 6 grocery stores that I know of between Chinese, Korean, and Japanese style supermarkets. So these supermarkets are a little on the smaller side, but they still have a bunch of items that you'll probably recognize from home in terms of fresh produce, like different kinds of vegetables and fruits that local or normal American grocery stores might not carry. They have a bunch of frozen items like dumplings and instant noodles. You have a lot of sauces that you'll probably see from home. A lot of these things are imported over. I personally like going shopping for, some drinks, snacks, and candies. They help a lot when I'm studying. And you can also get different utensils and appliances. So you can buy a hot pot pan and a lot of vegetables and broths to have a hot pot night with friends. It's something I've done before. So it's a really good way to kind of fight off that homesickness, or you can share your culture with friends that you meet at Pitt. And I will be passing it off to Fatima.
Thank you, Julia. Hello again. So now I'm going to briefly speak about Panther Central. Panther Central is the go-to place here on campus for anything related to daily living. They offer assistance with housing, buses and shuttles, your Panther ID card, dining services, and so much more. I know that for me, in the past 2 years of living on campus, I've definitely accidentally locked myself out of my residence hall like 5 different times. And each time I was able to get help from Panther Central getting back into my room because they're always open 24/7. So they're definitely pretty helpful in that sense. Panther Central has 2 on-campus locations. The first one is located in Litchfield Towers and is open 24/7. And then the second location is located in Sutherland Hall. And this one is open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can also check out their website at pc.pitt.edu, where you can find out more information about housing related questions, information about dining, and much more. And I'll be sure to drop that link for the website in the chat if any of you guys want to check it out. But now Jessica will be briefly going over the different ways that you all can get involved on campus.
Hi everyone, it's Jessica again. I'm going to talk about programs and groups at Pitt. So an important part of college is participating in clubs and activities outside the classroom. I highly suggest getting involved to make the most of your Pitt experience. This is a great way to meet people, enjoy hobbies, exercise, and even gain professional experience. For example, we have clubs about anime, different careers, culture, community service, sports, and so much more. And if you don't feel represented, you can always make your own club, which is what I did. So if you have any questions about that, I'd be glad to answer them. So if you're wondering, how can I see what specific organization Pitt has? They're listed on the Pitt website, or you can meet them in person. In the fall, all campus organizations host an activity fair. This is a huge event where you can talk to members of each program and join them right there. This is a great and fun way to find extracurricular activities at Pitt. Another great way to find fun activities is through Pitt Program Council. This organization hosts unique events throughout the year. For example, my first year, I went go-kart racing with friends and did sports. Speaking of fitness, let's hear about Julia's experience and knowledge about the health and wellness at Pitt.
Thanks, Jessica. So yeah, I'll talk a bit about health and wellness at Pitt. So most of the student recreation centers and work at gym facilities are located on upper campus. And there's a bunch of different opportunities and resources for you to work out on your own. Or if you need a little bit more instruction, you can take classes either as for credit, or you can pay, I believe it's about $40 for a class, a fitness class throughout the semester. So they meet probably twice a week, and it costs about $40. On the picture on the top, that's the Student Health Services building. Their wellness center inside provides a bunch of different resources from vaccines. So if you have, if you need to get your flu shot or your COVID vaccine, you can definitely sign up for it through Student Health Services. They offer a bunch of different health testings as well. And in that building, you can also find the University Counseling Center. So my personal outlook on student leadership is that we are students before we are leaders, but even before that comes mental health and physical health. So it's important to keep a sense of awareness about how you're doing in your day-to-day life. And the University Counseling Center provides a variety of services that you can access and use. I personally have used some of them in the years that I've been at Pitt. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to message me or any of the other ambassadors. But that will wrap it up for the student life section. And now I'm going to pass it off to Rachel, who's going to talk about academic life at Pitt.
Hi everyone, my name is Rachel. I believe I'm the only student in the College of Business Administration that's an ambassador, so if you have any questions about it, feel free to talk to me. I'm going to briefly talk about academic programs because I know that they are structured in different ways in different parts of the world, so I just wanted to make sure you were all clear on certain terms. So your major is the main field of concentration, your focus. So for example, I'm a global management major and a human resources major. And I know you've heard some people say I major in biology or I major in political science. That's your major, it's your main focus. Everybody has one. Then you have minors, which are mini majors. They have less coursework and they're more a general introduction to the field than like a specialization. And not everyone has it, it's an optional choice. So for example, my minor is in Korean, and some minors are just smaller versions of a major. So for example, there's the economics major and the economics minor, but some are just minors. They don't have a major associated. So creative writing or Korean or museum studies, those are minors that don't have a major that works with them. And then your certificate is your mini minor. It's even smaller than a minor, and it's a more like specialist focused version. So for example, public and professional writing or sustainability, or in the business school, there's business analytics. Those are certificates. Then you also have other options which are a bit too complicated to go into detail, or they're school specific. There's things like dual degrees, double degrees. Sounds very complicated, but it's just best to talk to your advisor about these sorts of things. But for example, my best friend wants to become a teacher. So she's in an accelerated program where she puts her bachelor's degree and her master's degree together and does them in a shorter time period than you would do them separately. So she's going to be at Pitt for 5 years instead of more to become a teacher. Next slide. Okay. So just to kind of break down what classes you're probably going to take. So you have your major related classes. Some of them are required, you have to take this, and some of them are electives. So they might say, out of this list, pick 2 or 3 for a certain topic for your major. And then you have so-called gen eds, general education, or in the business school, they're called arts and sciences requirements. So those are things like calculus, English, natural sciences, social studies. They just want you to take a few in each area to kind of broaden your education. And the amount and type depends on your school. For example, business students, we don't have to take as many natural sciences as other schools. And then after this coursework, it's very likely that you're going to have some free space to take some more classes unless you're already in a very academically challenging program. So in this case, you can add another major. For example, I started with global management and then I added human resources management. Or you can add a minor. I think my best friend has like 5 minors at this point. I'm not even sure. You can add as many as you want. And then, or you can add a certificate. Or if you don't want to add any of that, you can just take more elective classes that you're interested in. Just like anything from any school. And then between those majors, minors, certificates, and gen eds, there's definitely going to be some classes that overlap. So it won't take as much time as you think it will. So you might be able to do more than you thought. So do all that you want to do. There's definitely a way that you can do everything that you want to do. And then I put for the first section, just some links to explore the different degrees, majors, certificates, and minors. So the first one is a tool on the Pitt website called a degree finder. You put in your interests and they can come up with a list of different options that you might be interested in. Or if you just want to browse the full range, you can use that second link. And then finally, there's the main majors and minors fair at the beginning of the semester. I'm not sure if they have settled on a date for that yet, but that's similar to the activities fair that was talked about earlier, where there are different tables and you just walk around and people in those majors and minors will explain a little bit to you. And then I just also wanted to talk about the Honors College. So for all students, you can participate in honors courses and programs and access their resources, for example, advising or scholarships, fellowships, research. It's just kind of a more higher level of academics. If you want to challenge yourself, you can take part in these resources and courses. If you have at least 1 semester completed, you can pursue an honors distinction, which is a little bit less work than the next option. The next option, you had to have applied to the Honors College during your application process, and then you can earn an honors joint degree, which is even more academically challenging. And then I inserted the link there too. And then just the final thing, it's okay to switch majors and schools or to delay declaring a major. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to someone that has switched majors or minors halfway through, or decided they wanted to do something different. It's totally okay, and Pitt makes it really easy to do so. But just a note for certain certificates or the honors programs, they might have deadlines for you to apply or start. So just be careful and always do your research when you're thinking about these things. And then next, I'll just introduce Susie, who's going to talk about academic advising.
Thank you, Rachel. So hi everyone, my name is Susie. I'm a rising junior in School of Nursing, and I'll be talking to you about academic advising, scheduling, and class enrollment. So academic advisor, they're person that reach out to you in the beginning of the semester, and they usually want you to have an appointment with them, usually twice or 3 times during the semester to help you guys explore your academic interests, identify resources for additional information and support, even develop plans of study that's appropriate for your goals. Um, like I said, they hold meetings before and during the semester. They could talk about specific to your major since they already know you, and then they can access your transcript or anything. They can ask you, what do you want to do in your major? What's your general goal for the future? They can give you advice about what kind of classes you have to take or optional that you may want to take. And ways to contact them would be to schedule appointment with them through Navigate or Handshake. So on the next slide, so when scheduling with your advisor, make sure, so you can check the Navigate app to find available appointment with them. And for scheduling, check your degree requirement, like Rachel said earlier, for your specific major. They require different classes that you have to take, so your required classes, and also the general education credits that you can take. But also be mindful of the enrollment date. So for each student, the enrollment date may be different. And also the time that you can start enroll for classes may be different as well, but they can be found on mypitt.edu student center. So you should also check your respective school website for your dropout withdrawal period for classes, or even on the Pitt's academic calendar, like I linked there, that you can check the specific dropout when if you don't wish to be in the class anymore, you can choose to drop out the class. And then for scheduling portal, PeopleSoft and HighPoint, these are the two main ones that Pitt students use to schedule for their classes. They're also available on the Pitt mobile app, and we will have a workshop later on to go more in depth about them and how to schedule for your classes. But definitely, again, you can check your program required classes from my requirement tab under the find classes in PeopleSoft. If you don't want to ask your advisor, oh, what are my required courses? And PeopleSoft is a system that you can put your wanted courses into the shopping cart. So almost as if you're shopping for classes. And HighPoint especially, also PeopleSoft as well. They can both generate a mock schedule after you selected all your classes. So you can look on a daily basis, say on Monday, you have this many classes from this time to another time. So you can check if any classes collapse with each other or you want to change the time of a class, you can also do that. And on the next slide, I'll be talking about class enrollment. So definitely be mindful of the class capacity. So classes differ in their size, and also if it's recitation or if it's lab. So definitely the class size may be different. And also a lot of times you might be waitlisted for classes. So also be mindful of that. And you should also double check the locations of each classes and the walking distance, because I'm sure a lot of us have experienced that you're out of one class in this one hall and then you have to run to the next hall in 10 minutes. And sometimes that time is not enough if the two places are so far away from each other. So yeah, definitely double check the location on Google Map or any map devices you have before you actually enroll for the classes. And also choosing professors. We usually use Rate My Professor website. It's a website that we can look up by our school, so Pitt, and you can look up professor by their last name and their ratings in the classes that they teach. And the ratings come from Pitt student who will give you basically the perspective on why or why not a professor is good or bad. Usually they'll attach their personal examples as well as how difficult they think that class is. And I linked the website there. And you can also look up professors on Pitt Find. Usually that they'll explain to you their specialized subject and their current researches, or maybe if you're interested in research opportunities that you want to be a research assistant later on, you could also find them on the link that I attached, and then also emailing them about your research interest. And now I think Prima will talk about Study Lab.
Hi everyone, my name is Prima Doris, but you can call me Prima. I'm a rising junior, a psychology major on the pre-med track. So if anyone's interested in that, feel free to message me. So Study Lab, it offers both one-on-one peer tutoring and group tutoring for different courses that you can take at Pitt. They also have academic coaching to help you develop good studying skills, which is really important because I can guarantee you that the way you might have studied in high school is not going to be the same way that you studied in college. And that was something I had to really learn my freshman year and kind of get down packed. I used to study lab a lot when I was taking chemistry, which was a course I really struggled with. So I did a mix of both one-on-one tutoring and group tutoring, which they offered in Hillman Library, I think like Sundays. And I think that really helped me get through the course and understand the material a lot better, especially because sometimes it can be hard to understand what the professor is saying. And when you're able to get it from another student who's kind of gone through what you've gone through, and they can explain it to you in a way that you better understand. So it's a very great resource that you can utilize. I've linked a website here so you can explore it a little more, find out how to sign up and the different services that they offer. And next, I'm going to introduce Sophie about the Mac Center and the Writing Center.
Hi, my name is Sophie and I'm a student in the Rehabilitation Sciences major, and I'm also studying, or I'm on the pre-medical track. The Rehabilitation Sciences major is an upper degree major, so it's something I applied to my sophomore year instead of deciding earlier. I personally have used both these resources, the Math Assistance Center, or MAC, and the Writing Center. I used the MAC Center when I was studying for the MCAT to learn long division and other mental math concepts because I had just forgotten it. But you could also use it to help with your homework, to help with your math class, and it's located in the O'Hara Student Center. They have different types of TAs that can help you with that. The Writing Center is a similar kind of thing where people will help you with writing and essays, and they have faculty members as well as students helping with that. I used that when I was applying to my major actually on my personal statement, which was really helpful and I think made my application stronger. So I definitely recommend checking out both these resources if you ever are struggling with anything or just want an extra opinion on it. The university store is located in the middle of campus near kind of the towers. And if it will have all the supplies you need for your classes, you can buy textbooks there as well. Before doing so, we recommend checking a Facebook group that's selling them, or Amazon, or just other places, because it might be less, cost less than the actual store. But it's definitely really convenient if you need it, say the next day. All the resources will be there. And you can also borrow textbooks from the library center. And next, Prima is going to talk to you about office hours, TAs, and UTAs.
So hi everyone again. So office hours is essentially every professor has to host office hours. And you can come in if you have questions about the class, if you just want to introduce yourself and talk and get to know them. It's really a great resource. I
was told this all the time when I first came in, and I didn't really take it seriously until I started going. It's a great way to make connections because a lot of times your classes are going to be a lot of students. A lot of professors have like 100 students in one class, and it's really hard to kind of get to know each student on a name-to-name basis. But when you go to office hours, you're able to form that relationship with them, which is really great for getting letters of recommendations, getting access to different research opportunities, internships, connections, you name it. And also some professors, if they see that you're putting in the effort in going to office hours, if you're like on the cusp of a grade, let's say you have a B+ and you just need a couple points to push you up to an A-, if they see that you've been putting the effort throughout the year, they might even bump you up a grade. And I had this experience with my professor this past semester for anatomy and physiology. I heard she was a tough professor, so I was like, I'm going to become best friends with her at the beginning of the semester. So I started going to all of her office hours, and a few times, I think I went like 3 or 4 times, and then the next day in class, she called out my name, and I was so excited, so happy. And then I was able to ask her for a letter of recommendation this year for the honors college application, which I got into. So that was really great. And in each class that you have teaching assistants. So there are 2 types. There are undergrad teaching assistants, which are also known as UTAs, and TAs, which are just graduate teaching assistants. And these are students that have taken the course, whether they had your particular professor that you're taking or just took the course in general. They usually did really well. And you can ask them all types of questions regarding the course, the professor, what to focus on when you're taking exams, like what to study. Since they've taken the class, they kind of know like the setup, what you should focus more on and be more worried about when you're taking that particular class. And your professors and your TAs and UTAs are a really great resource to use. Especially if you're interested in like that particular field, like if you're taking biology and you thinking of majoring in biology, like make those connections. It's a really great way to kind of get access to other resources that are on Pitt. And no one is going to know if you need help if you don't say something. So always, if you ever need help, just reach out to anybody. And next I'm going to introduce Madura, and she's going to talk to you about the libraries.
Hi everyone, my name is Madura and I am a rising senior in the interdisciplinary studies major. I'm also pre-med, so if you have any questions about that, you can always ask me. And I will be talking about the libraries at Pitt, which are a very helpful resource for several reasons. One library that you'll probably hear the most about is Hillman. It's the biggest library on Pitt's campus, and there's a lot of different resources there. You can, probably the most obvious thing is you can study there, which is a fan favorite. A lot of students will go to Hillman to study for exams or just in general. It helps them concentrate better to be in a place where other students are also studying. And also in Hillman, there are like different rooms that you can sign up for on the website that's online. And there are several different reasons why you can use those rooms. You can do them, you can sign up for them just to study alone, maybe like studying in a separate room. Or a lot of the different, sometimes organizations will do group meetings at the library and sign up for like a study room to have their meetings there. I've done that a few times for some of my extracurricular activities where we've had meetings to like, this was when we were in person, obviously. We signed up for a room to get some work done together so that we could collaborate. But aside from that, Hillman also has, like they have different like technological equipment that you can also rent out. I was in a film class last semester, so they offered the opportunity to check out cameras that like University of Pittsburgh owns, and you can rent them out from the Hillman Library. So they have a lot of different cool things like that, and you can find out about like all of the different resources that Hillman offers through the website. But also in general, the the University of Pittsburgh's libraries are in a kind of like a system with several other universities called the University Library System. So if you want to check out a book, I know that's not really common these days, but if you want to, then you're able to check out books from not only the Pitt University System's library, but also other universities. So there's more opportunities to find whatever resources or whatever books that you may want to read about. Okay, and lastly, I'm going to be talking about the Career Center resources, which are very helpful for several reasons. They have, or in the center, you can have access to career consultants to plan your path. So say you're not sure what you want to do with your future, then you can go and talk to the people at the Career Center and they can help you out. Or if you already have an idea of where you want to go, whether that's grad school or a certain job that you want to get to, then you can also just seek the advice of these career consultants to see if you are on the right path. But also one of the most popular things that I've heard is students going to the Career Center to get feedback on their resumes and their cover letters, which is really helpful because these days people don't really, job employers or internship hiring people, they don't really have a lot of time to get to know all of their applicants, and usually the resume is the main thing that they hear from you. So it's very important. And the Career Center can offer a lot of good advice about how to structure your resume or maybe things to add on there, things like that. But they can also help you find jobs and internships. So that's also something that's very important usually in college is just finding internships for experiences to kind of like solidify the knowledge that you learn in your courses and things like that. One of the last things is that the Career Center offers the outside the classroom curriculum, OCC, which is kind of this special program where they have several different categories such as health and wellness or cultural awareness. And basically, if you complete if you attend a certain number of events in each of those categories, then you are eligible for a few different awards or benefits, such as I believe if you complete the OCC, then you are able to apply for a scholarship that they offer. And then you also, no matter what, if you just complete the OCC, you can also, you'll be given like a cord, I think, or something to wear when you graduate to show that you are cool and completed the OCC. And lastly, you are able to connect with alumni through the Career Center, which is also helpful because alumni are helpful for various reasons, such as maybe they are working in a job that you want to go to in the future, and they can offer advice based on their experiences, or maybe the alumni even, what was I gonna say? they completed a program that you also want to complete, like medical school or something, and you can connect with them. So yeah, that is a little bit about the Career Center. And now I will hand it off to Amanda, who is going to talk about student affairs.
Thanks, Madura. Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Reese. I use she, her pronouns, and I am an assistant director in the Office of Residence Life. So certainly if you have questions at the end about living on campus, we've got some great student ambassadors who have spoken to that already, but happy to be here to answer your questions as well. But I'd like actually to spend a little bit of time talking more about my colleagues in the Division of Student Affairs and the other work that we haven't had a chance to touch on or might touch on a little bit more in some other opportunities outside the classroom that is presented to you through the Division of Student So So I want to first highlight the student affairs offices that make up the student experience. So you just heard from our last group about all of the academic resources. Student affairs offices are what complement your academic experience at Pitt. So when you think about your academic experience, you want it to think about the whole experience and a well-rounded experience. And that well-rounded experience is what these offices can provide to you. So you've heard a little bit about the Career Center already. Campus recreation through the various both facilities and programs that we've talked about earlier. We've heard a lot about cross-cultural and leadership development, but my colleague Kyung-ah will talk a little bit more about that office in a bit. New student programs we haven't talked about yet, but certainly you will be very familiar with in just a few weeks. We're going to talk a little bit about Pitt Arts, which helps our Pitt students engage in the artistic community, both on campus and in the surrounding city. Pitt serves as an opportunity for students to get involved in civic engagement and philanthropic and service opportunities, again, both on campus and in the Pittsburgh area. Residence life, we've talked about a lot, but certainly if you've got questions about residence life, as I mentioned, please don't hesitate to reach out. Student life houses a lot of our student organizations, and one of the places that you can find those student organizations is in the Student Organization Resource Center. So we talked earlier about the hundreds of opportunities to join student groups. The Student Organization Resource Center, or SOURCE, is the place where you can go online to find all of those things. So let's now talk about some more of these in a little bit more in depth. But before we really jump into student affairs, I would be absolutely remiss if I didn't talk about the partnerships that Student Affairs has with our campus safety and the University of Pittsburgh Police. So our number one priority is to make sure that you are safe and to make sure that you feel safe both on campus and in the city. So the university has over 100 officers that patrol and respond to campus buildings around the university community. We also partner with the City of Police, and the University of Pittsburgh Police System and the City of Pittsburgh Police are the two largest policing organizations in the area, and certainly provide safety, and also have community outreach organizations and community outreach officers rather, that engage with our campus community to not only keep our campus safe, but to make sure that they're engaging in practices that are also respondent to the needs of our students, the needs of our community, and certainly understanding policing in America and working with our student demographics. I will also share that Pitt does have a pretty low crime rate comparative to being in such an urban center. And truly the most common crime that is reported through the university policing system is theft of unlocked property. So that's when you maybe walk away from a backpack or walk away from a computer. And so we're just, as you're planning to come to the US or as you're planning to come to Pitt, thinking about making sure how you're staying safe and how you're keeping your belongings safe when you join us. So again, my colleague Kyung-ah is going to talk a little bit more about some specific opportunities through the Cross-Cultural and Leadership Development Office. But the three things that I'd like to highlight are the Panther Leadership Academy, which is an opportunity all of our students have to join. It is a curriculum of leadership skill. So you would not only join a cohort of people interested in leadership skills, but also be able to learn more about leadership yourself in leadership and leadership skills that you can then put to use through that program and through your years at Pitt. Cross-Cultural and Leadership Development also oversees our Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life. Students who choose to engage in fraternity sorority life have the opportunity to do that in their second semester at Pitt. So you can spend your fall semester learning a bit more about fraternity sorority life, and then seeing if that's something that you would like to partake in once you have spent at least one semester here at Pitt. And last, but most certainly not least, we're going to highlight Global Ties in just a minute, but it is obviously a huge part of connecting to the Office of Cross-Cultural and Leadership Development. So lots of people have talked about stuff to do in the city and stuff to do on campus. One of those things that we've highlighted a few times are arts encounters and museums. One of the ways that you can do that at a free or significantly reduced cost is through the Office of Pitt Arts. So Pitt Arts does an amazing job of not only letting you go into the city and engage in museum and arts encounters for free, but also does a great job of bringing art encounters to campus and engaging local artists and even national artists to come to Pitt and highlight their talents and skills. So one thing to mark your calendar is that every Wednesday, Pitt Arts has Artful Wednesdays where they're bringing performers onto campus. But then those free museum and free arts encounters exist with your Pitt ID. And you can just show your ID at any of the museums in Oakland. And really, it's a great way to learn about the city. And that's thanks to our friends at Pitt Arts. And we've talked about the Wellness Center and Student Health Services a lot, but it is critically important. We had mentioned earlier that, you know, we want to make sure you're getting a well-rounded experience, but we also want to make sure that you are putting yourself first. You are a person first and a student second. So making sure that your wellness is your top priority. So just a reminder, the Wellness Center, which is where Student Health Services is located, is in Nordenberg Hall, which is one of our residence halls on campus. Again, lots of things we've already talked about in terms of care, but just a reminder that you can get primary care at the Student Health Services, and that includes things like pharmacy services as well, and allergy and immunotherapy injections, and also travel care as well. So these are all free to Pitt students through your student fees. So know that this resource is available to you. And again, this is critically important that you remember so that you know you've got this resource on campus, and just so we're remembering that we're putting our personal health and well-being first. When we're talking about personal health and well-being, we're also talking about our mental health and wellness. So the Counseling Center is also located in the Wellness Center alongside Student Health Services. And our counselors are here and available to help with many different types of services and here to help you with things like homesickness, maybe some culture shock and anxiety and depression, stress from academics. Not only are you making the transition to the University of Pittsburgh, but maybe also to the City of Pittsburgh and the United States as well. So counselors are here to help you not only talk through those transitions, but ease your anxieties and give you skills to manage those anxieties and depressions that you might be facing as you're making that transition. And you can do that in a couple of different ways at the Counseling Center. There is individual therapy available, but then there are also couples therapy, group therapy, and workshops, so that if you would prefer to chat with others about what is going on under the supervision and expertise of a counselor in group spaces, those are available to you as well. The last thing I want to highlight here that we haven't really had a chance to talk about is the stress-free zone, and that is located in the William Pitt Union in partnership with our Counseling and Wellness Center. So the stress-free zone is a great place to take a break, to relax, and to do whatever you need to do to take a moment. They have great programming. If you need to step away from your academics for a moment and just take a break, the stress-free zone is a great place to do that. I'm now going to turn it over, as I've kind of highlighted already, to my colleague Kyung-Ah Lee, who's going to talk more about our Global Ties program and our engagement with our international students through this program.
Thank you, Amanda. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. Thanks for staying with us, Jill. Thank you. My name is Kyung-Ah. I'm a staff member in Student Affairs. I'm helping with PTU program, but also there is another program that I oversee called Global Ties program. Global Ties program is also for also a support system for incoming international students, just like you all. As you can see, there are 17 amazing Global Ties mentors. We call them GTMs. They are current students. Some of them are international students, just like you. Some of them are domestic students. They look very friendly, right? Yeah, they are really nice people. And they're really excited to help you as a mentor because they went through the process. They understand how difficult it is. So they really want to help you to ease your transition. So what they do, there are 4 things that we do. By the way, you don't have to write them all down because I'm going to share the website where you can find all the details there. So first one, mentoring program. Some of you may already have assigned a mentor. Maybe some of you already have a mentor because you sign up for it. If you don't, no worries. You can still sign up for a mentoring program. So you can have a mentor. Why it's helpful to have a mentor? Because you can ask anything, big and small things. GTMs, Global Ties mentors, they are trained, so they know a lot of information and resources. So they'll be able to tell you, what you need, or they'll be able to connect you with the right resources. You can ask small things as well. For example, you're packing luggages to come to Pittsburgh, and you're not really sure whether it's worth to bring these boots with you or not. You can also ask mentor when you register for classes, you have like small things that you're unsure with, you can ask them that. When you choose general education, they're also current students, you can get some advice from them too, all those things. So it's very helpful to have a mentor. Second one, we have pre-arrival summer sessions. We're offering 12 unique summer sessions. I see familiar names today who attended the sessions. Nice seeing you again today. So there are 12 sessions, right? And there are 3 categories: major or school-based session. So we have like engineering session, arts and sciences, undecided. We have second category, we have global connect session. So we invite all international students. So you will have some chance to meet other international students and also GTMs. There will be their future classmates, future hallmates. So it's really good to see them and get to know them in advance, because you will see them in person in fall. And also the third one is special topic. They're going to talk about how their life is, how their college life is, academic life is, Pittsburgh life is. So those are the sessions that we're offering during the summer. The third one is very important: mandatory international orientation and events. In August, you have to attend one of the sessions for mandatory international orientation. So during the first and second week of August, there are 5 options with different dates and time, okay? From August 8th through August 14th. So you have to choose one of them. It's mandatory, one of them. And you can get all the information. We're going to talk about OIS. We'll talk about immigration related. We're going to talk about all the resources that you will need before you come to campus. So that's mandatory. You have to choose one, and you will have to RSVP. We are going to reach out to you via email to sign up. There are also events. So third week before Welcome Week kicks in, we are offering international orientation events. It's an optional, but we highly, highly encourage you to attend those. So we have mentor-mentee meetup session. We're going to book the buses to go to Target shopping, where you can buy all like shampoos, all the bad stuffs that you need in the dorms or for living. We have board game nights. It's gonna be fun, and you will get to know each other more. I'm going to book the double-decker bus where you can do the city tour, and maybe we're gonna do culture food night too. Some of the events are in person, some of the events are virtual, so you will get to see what you want to attend. Last but not least, fall events and workshops. So before pandemic, we used to have, and we are hoping to have some of the modified version of some events. We had all Halloween events. We had global getaway, where we brought 100 students, international domestic students, to the campsite, but we were able to do it virtually last year. So maybe we can do the same thing this year. We have mentor-mentee meetups still in fall, where you can meet a lot of friends and make friends, build meaningful relationships. We also have helpful workshops and programs. For example, we have cover letter and resume workshop where you can, and also we're gonna talk about on-campus job opportunities. Global Ties is also running International Associates Program, which is I secure some jobs on campus just for incoming international students. And then first year incoming international student will apply. We're gonna match them up. I know it's really, really hard to find a job on campus, especially first year international students. So we have that program for you. So we're working hard on that. Stay tuned. So, and then on the slide, do you see the link below there? That's where you can find all the detailed information. And also I'll share the link in the chat shortly. Thank you very much. And now Katie will talk about the international services.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So hello again. And I am excited to talk to you about the Office of International Services. This is one of my favorite pictures, by the way, that our international students have taken. It's as a part of a photo contest that we did. And I use it everywhere that I can. I have been in the Office of International Services for 10 years now, and I really enjoy working with our international students. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what our office does. We advise international students about your visa status while you're in the United States. So as you are probably already working through your pre-arrival checklist, you hear information about maintaining your status. Our office helps you to do that. We answer questions about international travel, whether or not you are able to do internships, employment opportunities, things like that related to immigration. We maintain compliance and reporting to the government. So we let the government know everything that they need to, again, in order for you to remain in the United States. We're a resource for the international community, and we really try to do a lot of community engagement with the Pitt international community as well. And this is one of my favorite times of year because we start welcoming all of these new students, and you guys are very appreciated on campus because it's always exciting what you bring to our community. One thing to remember is that while OIS is always here to help you to maintain your status, we're helping you. It's your responsibility. And so we're going to do everything that we can to assist you. But if you have any questions about things that you're doing, please make sure to check with us if you're unsure. Okay. So I just mentioned the pre-arrival checklist, and this is something that you guys should be working your way through. And I have a couple pictures on this here, but this is really a wonderful resource for you as you prepare to come to the United States. There's information about how to get from the airport to campus. There's information about orientation. There's medical information on there, information about your immigration documents, and all the immigration regulations that you need to know, again, in order to maintain your status. My OIS is where you've been doing the pre-arrival checklist, and that is the system that you will use for all of your requests throughout your time as an international student at the University of Pittsburgh. One thing that we have created for the international students who are coming to our campus for the first time is a pre-arrival experience calendar. And you can see the website here. This has special events that are designed for our incoming students. So information sessions, social events, orientations. The sessions that Kyung-ah was mentioning for Global Ties, we've added those to that calendar. Anything that we think will really be helpful to you as you prepare to come to the University of Pittsburgh. I have an example here of taking a virtual tour of the nationality rooms. There are a lot of events on that experience calendar that are not just about events that are happening, but about things that you can do to learn more about living in the United States or Pittsburgh. Chris earlier mentioned Pittsburghese, which is the way that some of us speak who grew up or have lived in Pittsburgh for a long time. There's an article about that. There are articles where there are international students who are giving tips for how to succeed while you're studying in the United States. There's a very good comprehensive list of things for you to find on that pre-arrival experience calendar to help you as you get ready to come join us. So some of the things that we have as pre-arrival programs is the Pitt to You program, which I'm going to talk more about in just a second. Kyung-ah already spoke about the Global Ties pre-arrival program. And there's the Panther Connect program that's for all incoming undergraduate students. So you should be getting a lot of information about that as well. We do have requirements for you as international students before you begin studying in the fall. You need to complete the OIS pre-arrival checklist. And some of that you're not going to be able to finish until you actually arrive in the United States. So that's fine if you haven't finished everything yet. That is not expected. And then once you arrive, you also need to take the English language test. And so you'll get more information about that as the school year approaches as well. Then we have orientation. We have a combination, as was mentioned earlier, of in-person events and online events. And so you will get more information about orientation through your email and through the pre-arrival checklist about the different activities for you to attend. So, and as well, you'll get emails from different offices. So please make sure to read all of those so that you are attending everything to help you succeed as you start your academic life at Pitt. Some different ways that you can engage with OIS. We have weekly emails that you will start to receive once you're enrolled, call it our Top 5 Tuesday, where we let students know about different events that are happening, but also what deadlines are coming up as far as enrollment, different resources on campus, things like that. We also will send you personal emails if we have questions about maintaining your status, or you can always email us with questions as well. We have our website that has a number of different resources on it. And I'm actually going to be doing a presentation very soon for the Pitt to You program about the OIS website so that you can learn more about how to use that for you. We have our events calendar, and then we have social media, which you can find on our website. If you want to contact OIS, you can schedule an appointment. We do virtual appointments through our website. You can email ois@pitt.edu, attend our events, and in the summer, right now we're hosting Friday forums. And Friday forums are really every Friday from 8:30 to 9:30 Pittsburgh time. And they are available for you to drop in with any questions that you have. So if you have a quick question and you want to drop in, or you want to stop by to hear what questions other people have, we highly encourage you to do that. It's also a wonderful way for you to meet OIS staff members. So one of the questions that we've been getting from our international students coming this fall is what the options are for taking classes. So I wanted to talk with you a little bit about those. So we have in-person classes this fall. However, in order to take in-person classes, you have to arrive in the United States by September 4th. That is to take classes on campus. Some classes might be available online, but that really depends on your academic department. And so you might want to contact them if it looks like you might not arrive by September 4th. We are going to have a lot of online events in the fall. So even if you're not able to make it, or you're concerned about going places with too many students, there are still a lot of opportunities for you to engage. We do have some Pitt on location courses. You should have already signed up for these classes if you are interested in this program. But if you have questions, I have the contact information for Nazir Nori on here that you can reach out to if you'd like more information. And then if you are absolutely not able to make it this fall, then you can certainly defer your admission to the spring term, just in case you need to. Some of the things to consider as you prepare for the fall is the availability to get your visa. There are very long lines for getting visas right now, and we understand that it's a struggle for some students. There are a lot of students who have reached out to us and told us that they are not able to get appointments until January or February right now. And what we have been encouraging students to do is to make those appointments for January and February, but then see if you're able to get an emergency appointment closer to when you want to leave. You want to consider any travel bans that either exist now or that might come into effect if things get worse, and the availability of flights, the quarantine requirements, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this when we get into the questions period for where you can go to find that information, what your arrival date is. Again, if you're taking in-person classes, you need to be here by September 4th. And if you study remotely, you want to talk to your immigration specialist about whether or not that affects your ability to do OPT and CPT, which are employment options that you're going to learn more about this summer. So now I'm going to talk to you about what the rest of the Pitt to You program looks like. So this summer, we have 6 weeks of activities between this program and the start of orientation. So the week of July 12th will be on social media and common apps that you use while you're here in the United States. July 19th, we're gonna feature majors and minors as well as classes. July 26th is going to be a typical day on campus. August 2nd is Life in Pittsburgh and City Activities. August 9th is academic websites or Pitt systems. You've heard about several of those today already. August 16th is going to be more information about the activities fair. These are all going to include a couple different pieces. So these activities are all going to be presented by your Pitt to You ambassadors who have shown how wonderful they are at presenting information already today. There is going to be a presentation at Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. Pittsburgh time, each of these weeks talking about these topics, but we're also going to have a lot of additional information in teams. So for those of you unfamiliar, we are going to be taking everyone who registered for this program and putting them in a Teams group where you're going to have access to this Pitt to You information. It is a program that can be used in any country. We have students who have been using it as they've been studying remotely in the last year. And you're going to be able to use the Teams platform to also ask immigration or questions to all the ambassadors as you think of them. So if you think of a great question in a day or two or in a week or two, you can always go into the Teams environment and ask the questions there. In the fall, we have a couple different options. For those of you who would like to participate or would like to continue participating in the Global Ties Mentorship, Kyung-ah has spoken about all of the wonderful benefits of participating in that program, and I highly encourage you to take part. It is a wonderful experience for everyone who participates. We also have an intercultural experiences course. This is going to be a weekly class where we're going to meet for 1 hour, and it's just going to be pass fail. So if you show up, you're good to go. And it's really designed for you as a student to interact with other international students and the Pitt to You ambassadors. What we're going to do is cover things to help you succeed in your life at Pitt as an international student. So we're going to talk about American classrooms. We're going to talk about academic resources, health and safety, how to connect with people and network while you're on campus. So every week we're going to get together and just have activities where we can talk about how things are going and what assistance you might need or what support you might need, hear about other people's experiences, and really make sure that you're getting everything that you need to be a successful Pitt student. So if you're ready to sign up for the Pitt to You program, Here is the link that you need. You can also use the QR code right here with your phone or other mobile device. But that is our program. We do have time for questions. And before I open it up for questions, again, I want to put up the resources for questions that we may not be the best people to answer for you. So for example, if you have questions about vaccines, I know that a lot of students do, or quarantines once you arrive in the United States. The Pitt COVID website and Student Health Services are wonderful resources for you to go to look for that information. And again, especially if things start to evolve and change, that is where you would go for any updated information. If you have questions about housing or Panther Central, there's their website. If you have immigration questions, I can certainly help you with some of those, but we do have our Friday forums that you can find on the pre-arrival experience calendar. And we also have FAQs for our incoming students as well for the fall. And then finally, the tuition questions go to the Student Payment Center. So I put their information. And then at the bottom, I included the link so that you can still see it to register for the Pitt to You program. At this time, I am going to thank you very much for staying with us for the 2 hours that we've presented to you about Pitt to You and the University of Pittsburgh. I would like to thank all of our staff members and our Pitt to You ambassadors for the wonderful presentations that they've given today and all of the work that they have done to get the Pitt to You program where it is. And if you do not have any questions for us, you are free to go. We will email you the presentation so that you'll be able to look through this at your own pace later if you like. In the meantime, I am going to stop recording in just a second so that we can answer your questions outside of the recording. But I would like to again thank you so much for coming and joining us today. We value our international community at the University of Pittsburgh, and we could not be more excited for you to join us on campus. Thank you very much.